So I heard you guys got your fucking asses kicked.
Yeah, that was not the best thing that's ever happened. I have some idea of why, though. I've been kind of reading up as much as I can without going into full spoilers. So, turns out that if she's born in October, we fight a rival that's 1 year ahead of where they would be in any other situation. So we were fighting the second tier of this boss the first time we fought her. Now we're fighting the third tier. If we go up against her, we'll be fighting the fourth. So that's not cool.
Oh my god, I'm having flashbacks. So when I grew up, I just assumed that I was the worst athlete in the universe, and it was because for some reason I was enrolled in a soccer team that was like more than a year older than I was.
Let's switch your bitch to a winter dress because we're going into
I think
October.
it is no exaggeration to say that if I had been enrolled in the correct soccer team, I would even now be blasting jock jams while I was about to say that I'd be playing in a pickup basketball game or something, but I guess not, considering it's currently April 2020.
So something I'm curious about is whether having a stat on makes you meet the maximum of that, or having an item on that increases a stat makes you meet the maximum of that stat before you otherwise would. Oh, also apparently we really should not have done that elf trade thing, because that permanently lowers our natural combat skill. So what I want to do here is... So I've gotten a few different opinions from people in the comments. One thing we should probably be doing is going to the southern riverside and farming black scales. So those are the things that we were talking about. They give defense +3 and they stack. We got 2 of them. That's apparently the easiest way to actually raise your combat defense, because you can raise it with fighting classes, but it's really, really slow. And the other thing we should probably be doing is starting to boost our magic stats so that we can use magic as an alternative to combat in situations where we're fighting physical fighters that are really good, like our rival. Okay. So what I want to do first is I want to try, I want to send her to a fencing class and see if that will raise our attack any further than it already is, because I've got the katana unequipped.
Okay.
Then I want us to keep working at the farm to increase our strength and stamina. And let's go ahead and just do that twice here.
So I have a question, while we're sort of getting all of these ducks in a row. Have either of you guys taken a look at Princess Maker 5?
No. Is that the newest one?
The newest one, yeah.
Okay, so that did nothing. So our skills are naturally maxed out. No point in going back to doing fencing. So in order to do magic, we should just be going and studying, I think, science. We could study strategy, but I believe that's just combat skill and intelligence, and there's no reason to not just... Oh, well, actually, there is a magic class. Oh. Okay, we're fighting Natasha Dripskova again. We can probably
isn't she the one who challenged us to a duel last time?
A sword. Yeah.
Yeah, because we totally
sword.
We did a great job last time with Natasha.
We've gotten to the point now where people are challenging us to a fight just about the same amount that the fortune teller is peddling her lies and foolery. Which is, once a week.
When are we going to fight the fortune teller? That's what I want to know. So, okay. Did you guys... I didn't watch all of the episodes. I mostly just skipped to the part where you guys got your fucking asses kicked. But did you do any, socializations? Have we attempted to socialize our murder child at all?
We met Satan.
That doesn't count, Josh.
I mean, it
So-
kind of counts.
Okay, so our murder child is still going to end up forever alone. Basically, that's what's happening here.
Yeah, basically.
This is like, what are the implications of this? Because like most people naturally learn how to socialize with others. So if 100% of it is contingent on us sending her to talk to the gate guard or whatever, is the implication that like that's literally the only other human beings that she interacts with besides us and Cube and the monsters that she bumps into when she goes out a-killing?
She runs into a whole lot of fucking town guards when we're going out, I'll tell you that.
Oh
That's
boy.
what I want. This is it, I think. There's nothing we can do to increase our weapons and armor any further, right? Yeah. What about the item shop?
So
We could
what
buy a
happened?
bunch of fucking books. I think these stack. Let's spec out here.
What were you gonna say, Chris?
So intelligence is 77 right now.
Well,
We
you
already
asked us if we had
have
played Princess Maker 5. I've played
several
not that,
books.
but it's the most recent game and it's from 2007. So what happened
Yeah.
to this
Let's see.
franchise?
Well, I think the last one didn't do particularly well.
書物は古今東西の知識の宝庫だよ。書物の値段は120ゴールドだ
Hey
よ。
kid, we're buying you another textbook.
I mean, we
Right,
sort of
so-
talked about the fact that this is a transitional genre in a lot of ways. Like, there's not a lot of going on in this game that isn't done better by games with more of like a visual novel type presentation like Persona.
Can we just buy our intelligence to max by just buying like every fucking book?
ここは雑貨屋ですよ。
I mean, and really,
It's
like,
120 for +8 to the stat. That's better than like going to a fucking class.
it's interesting because whenever you talk about games that got popular in like the 90s, you know, your metric of a successful game is so vastly different than the metric of success for a modern game, just because, you know, back then, like, you chose from a half dozen niche audiences or your Mario. Like, those are your two options. Now there's a much larger gradient of success. Like, you can make a living making games that, you know, nobody's heard of, but like one forum full of people will play regularly, and then you can like create a really, really popular game that nobody likes very much, but that still makes back its investment budget.
Well, I mean, that's always one of the interesting things to me, talking about, like, Fallout as a franchise, where, like, Fallout got huge with Fallout 3. That's where everybody was on board, and it became the next Bethesda mega franchise title. I played Fallout 1 and 2 back when they were new. I imagine the total number of people that actually did that numbers in the low 100,000s versus the millions of copies Fallout 3 sold.
Right. Yeah, I remember, like, you know, the game magazines were like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a classic, or then a few years later, like, yeah, those were classics. But that didn't ever translate to success on the same order of magnitude that we currently think of a game being successful.
Alright, that's enough.
Like, the Stanley Parable has sold over 1 million units.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Which is weird to
Can
think
we
that that
keep
game is
raising
probably...
our fighting rep without progressing time either by constantly going back and forth in the menus until we just get more and more challenges?
I would assume they cap you at 1 per month.
But didn't we just fight Natasha Dripsako? Like, we haven't done anything since then. Like, that was at the end
Really?
of
Oh,
last
Jesus.
month's stuff. Yeah.
What were you saying, Chris?
No, I was just gonna say it's weird to think that, like, Stanley Parable probably has had more people play it than Fallout 1 and 2 have had people play them.
Yeah, Fallout 2 especially.
Yeah, I've still never finished Fallout 2. I beat Fallout
Right.
1, and I was like, yeah, let's
I
do
would
it. And then
not
I started playing
recommend-
Fallout 2, and I was like, this sucks.
Fallout 2 is great.
I'm
The
on the
end of
fence.
Fallout 2 is not good.
Oh yeah, you're
Well, the
absolutely
opening
right.
of Fallout 2 isn't all that good either. It takes a really long time to get to the point where you're even remotely competent. And that
You just need to
stupid
get
fucking,
Vic.
like, like Mayan ruins dungeon in like Northern California. Like,
So, with the thing about Fallout 2 is, like, the part about Fallout 1 that everybody really remembers from the beginning is when you come to that town, and I think it's like Caroline the Sheriff is is in that kind of like feud with the basically mob dude, and you have to like plant a recording device, or that he hires you to assassinate the sheriff, and there's kind of like a faction brawl. So like that, a lot of Fallout 2 feels like that, and that's the thing I like about it. But the actual like main quest and final part about Fallout 2 is, I don't think, especially good.
No, because it's mostly what gives us the Enclave and all the nightmare shit that eventually became the worst parts of Fallout 3.
We're gonna make
God.
a robot president. Apparently, it's going to be a really good president.
is this like the princess? She's really weak.
No, our daughter is the princess.
No, this is like the real princess. Maybe,
Our
I
daughter
don't know.
is a real princess.
Well, fighting rep is good because I finally figured out what fighting rep does, which is it increases your morale in battle.
But that's only important for magic, I thought.
This way. No, it's whichever stat is higher increases your morale. So as long as our magic rep is lower than our fighter rep.
I can only find Francois Moret in the list of NPCs, so I don't think she's anybody special.
I just love that we've been playing this game for like 2 months now, and we still are trying to figure out exactly how its core systems freaking work.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think it's these ones?
Listen, I play games differently than a lot of people. Generally, there's core systems that explain how stats increase and how they decrease. I'm like, interesting.
There we go.
And then I blitz past them. I am the asshole that, like, whenever you read a headline, like, the stats don't actually matter in so-and-so video game, I'm the user they developed that game for. It's like, actually, turns out if you use it turns out if you use the worst possible gun in Destiny, that it actually has the best stats. I'm like, well, I would never would have figured that out.
That was Anthem.
Well, that's not true in Destiny, but it was true in Anthem for a short period of time.
That was I can't tell any of those fucking games apart, and I don't believe anybody who says they can.
Them's fighting words.
Do we get
Destiny
black
is
scales
good.
every single time we kill one
Are
of
we
these
doing
things?
this for money, or are we doing this for whatever apocryphal?
We're doing it to get the
apocryphal?
scales.
Right, but are we trying to sell the scales, or do they give us some stat bonus?
No, they give us 3 combat defense every
Yeah.
single time we get one, and they stack. So
We're basically just going to shuffle
Okay,
into
not
the
every
next
time.
fight from behind a hedge of scales.
I'll point out also this thing is called fetch fish in this translation. In the wiki, it's called
She's a fetching fish.
Black Mermaid. So that's a bit of a difference in translation.
That's odd.
Yeah.
What do you suppose
Fetch fish is fine. She's a fetching fish.
Yeah, that's what
Stop
it
trying
is.
to make that happen, Chris.
And like,
It's-
she's like a siren, so she's like taking you.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny
Where's
actually.
Connor? Not one of these. Get out of here.
Just let him go. Just let him take him. You know, if I was like gonna be royalty in this area, I would shut down the entire Kidnapper stream. I feel like that's an important thing to do.
We gotta stop exporting our people.
If I was in charge of the kidnappers, I would like see if I could change up how like sack proper procedures so that you didn't have to smell feet the entire time.
I mean, you'd have to take it up with your union boss. There's a whole Kidnappers Union, Kidnappers Guild.
The Kidnappers Guild Master really likes feet of
That's
cake.
why they That's why they haven't shut it down, is it's actually a really powerful organization in the town, because so many people are employed as kidnappers in this area that...
Look, kidnapping human beings creates 10,000 jobs. There's 5,000 kidnappers, and then 5,000 people with jobs who get kidnapped. It's very stimulating to the economy.
Wanted, female thief, Blood Rose Vanista, reward 1,500 gold.
This is where she's the second thief. This is where I think you'd find her somewhere in this map.
Where is the first one?
He's in the forest somewhere. We'd have to look up how to fight him. But I think that's so beyond what we're trying to do if we're trying to win. If we're trying to grind up little mermaid bits for armor.
Well, someone is typing furiously in the background.
Alex is looking up how to do this.
Yeah. I need to get to the bottom of it. Because I feel like unless you have the map, it's impossible.
Yeah, those maps are so handy.
Around.
Wait, we don't actually need to move to get random encounters. We can just stand around. Ah, it's still Fishman. I think we need to go back up.
Can I just say that I love Fishman deeply.
I like the crows better.
Fuck.
But I love the idea that we're not getting rid of the kidnappers, but the kidnappers union is pushing us actively to get rid of the fishmen that make their job harder.
What is this place called again?
Southern Riverside, I think?
Oh, I've been to Riverside.
But
That sounds like a
it's
retirement
not. That's
home.
not what it's called everywhere else. So. Oh, we stole some drugs.
That sounds like Riverside.
It's called Southern Lakes. Sometimes. Which doesn't make sense because these are definitely rivers.
Snakey appeared. None of these guys drop any decent gold, though.
We mentioned before that, like, you never see a non-hentai naga in a video game. It like almost doesn't happen ever.
Yeah.
Unrest had non-hentai naga.
In World of Warcraft, all the Naga are men, I think.
But are they
They're
hot?
definitely not sexual. They're like the green and yellow ones are men. And there's nothing sexual about them.
Okay, I'll be the judge of that. Let me look that up here.
I just had to Google female WoW Naga, and I feel really dirty just doing it.
Fucking.
Okay, I will definitely concede that this is not sexualized.
I don't know. Is this? I feel like if
Yeah,
this
I'm trying to
comparison
find
is
out
an
if-
actual, if this comparison image I'm looking at is an actual comparison, it's not like creepy, sexy Naga, but compared to the dude Nagas, they're pretty sexy.
I'm seeing art of a Naga siren here that has nipples, but that's from 2003, so...
Yeah, that's out of date. Then those aren't canon anymore.
Also, there's a Naga woman here who also has boobs and nipples, and snake hair, and octopus bottom, and she's like lifting her hands up through her snake hair like Marilyn Monroe.
So what did that tier give us? Nothing. Doesn't have any information. What is a
want me to
mermaid's
look it up?
tier? Yeah.
Hold on. The mermaid tier is a hardened tier that fishmen tend to get by tormenting mermaids. It costs 950 gold. On its own, it is useless. I don't know
So
what that
you
means.
sell
Wait,
it.
so the fishmen
Okay,
are just like
uses.
running around like yelling things from Twitter at mermaids, and the mermaids are just like
So-
crying, and it becomes this rock hard currency that we then harvest.
Uses. If you are
So
low
if
on
we go
money,
to
you
the
can sell it for half the
ocean
price it's worth. If you possess
in
one and you can meet a
December?
mermaid and be rewarded with a prayer, the prayer raises your charisma by 50 points and your sensitivity by 20 points.
Oh, hello.
Oh, are we meeting a
Oh, there we
mermaid?
go.
Wow, that's...
Yeah.
I was just talking about this.
Wow.
Well, thank you for giving us the introduction to this right before we learned what it was.
I literally didn't know this was going to happen. I was just looking up the thing.